Hey, good morning, everybody. I wanted to go live this morning. It is, for me, it's rounding out to be the last week, week 4 of my 100-day challenge that I created for myself. And I know that I had the last 2 weeks, I haven't really shared that much. Week 3 was tough because whatever, I was on my period and I was kind of waffling back and forth and just eating things that I shouldn't have been eating. And the eating part is always the hardest thing for me. So I was struggling a lot on week 3. And this week, more or less, I was trying to get back on to my good track that I was doing really well with week 1 and week 2. So that's, I've got still have another, another half to go. So I'm planning on, getting back on. So anyway, why I wanted to get on live today was because I'm in week 3 with a group of women in my accountability group, and the accountability that we give each other is really what keeps me going and really what keeps me focused, and what I wanted to talk about with the ladies this weekend was really like to see, like, okay, week 3, that's our last week together before we start our next group next month. So, what is holding us back? What is, not letting us reach our goals? And a lot of time it's because we start strong and we are willing to get uncomfortable, but then towards the middle, sometimes, it'll take sometimes it's as quick as 3 days, and all of a sudden we forget why we were, going after this to begin with. But sometimes it takes a little longer, and, and we have a longer stamina, and sometimes it'll take, you can go strong for 2 weeks, or you can go strong for 3 months, but then something happens where you start to see results maybe, and you get excited, but then you forget why you were struggling and what the importance of the struggle was, and you get comfortable. And the second you get comfortable is really the time that you end up backtracking, because you're not pushing to get uncomfortable. And that's where I was, the beginning of this week. I knew that I had to get uncomfortable again, even though last week was tough for me because whatever, hormones, whatever, you ladies know what I'm talking about. But I knew I had to get back, and I had to remember that being uncomfortable is where you find the change. And what started us, what sparked that interest to actually even change is when we were comfortable. So if this makes sense, hopefully this makes sense. You're comfortable, you look around and you see things that you want to change, whatever that is for you. For me, it has a lot to do with how I eat coupled with how I feel in my body. So how I eat when I'm not eating well, it feels comfortable because that's what I like. It's, it's easy. It's usually more easy than not easy. And it's comfortable because it's the way I know. But when you look around, it's not what you want to see. And for me, that's how I feel in my clothes. That for me, that feels, that's how I feel. Do I feel confident? So if those two things aren't aligned, then I know that usually sparks the interest of change. I gotta change something. So I was comfortable, but I felt like I needed change. Transition to, okay, I have to change, and in order to change, you need to get uncomfortable. So you transition into this mode of all right, we got to change X, Y, Z because we're looking, for Y. And that's that mode can sometimes be short, sometimes can be long, sometimes can have like, stops and starts and stops and starts. Because I found for me, I've been doing this for 2 years now, the reason why I end up doing these stops and starts is because I hit a point where I start seeing results and I'm like, oh, this is great. This is awesome. So then I end up saying like, okay, I got it. I got this. I figured this out. And then what happens is I end up backtracking a little bit, a little bit, a little bit, because I start getting comfortable, and then next thing I know, I'm unhappy again. So the importance, and what has kept me at least on a path towards inevitably getting the discipline that I need, because that's what it's all about. It's not about motivation. Motivation is fleeting. Motivation might as well be like on a cloudy day, like the sun that peeks through every once in a while between clouds. That's what motivation is. But discipline, like learning habits and knowing the difference between like, something that's going to be satisfying right now versus long-term satisfaction. So these accountability groups, the fact that I know every month we're going to be starting fresh, and that every day I'm going to have to, check in with this group, and we're going to talk and we're going to reflect. I'm going to have to reflect about how I ate during the day, and did I do something, to get like physical and to strengthen my body, that kind of accountability. That's what keeps me going. That's the kind of stuff that really is able to like kind of spark that interest continuously, to get uncomfortable and to remind myself continuously that even though at times comfortable is comfortable and it feels safe, being uncomfortable and pushing and striving and being disciplined is actually the happy place, because it's the place where you see the change that you want. Anyway, kind of rambled in the beginning. Thanks if you watched it all the way through, because I feel like I get stronger as I talk. Like my message gets stronger as I talk. So if you watch live, thank you so much. And if you watch the replay, hopefully this was helpful. And have a great weekend, guys.